Well, the city of St. Mary's celebrating their bicentennial, and there's a lot happening. And joining us today, the chairman of the Bicentennial Committee, we've got Kraig Noble, and thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here, Holly.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk a little bit about history. St. Mary's has a rich history. There's oil, there's the canal, lots of things, right, that need to be celebrated and explained to for people who don't know about St. Mary's.
Yes, St. Mary's was one of the first inhabited spots in northwestern Ohio. Northwestern Ohio was reserved to the Native Americans in the Treaty of Greenville, but there were certain areas within that area that were the U.S. kept control of, and one of them was the St. Mary's, which is at the headwaters of the St. Mary's River, one of the main tributaries of the Maumee River. So it was an important point in early travelers where it was very difficult to travel overland, so the rivers were the main highways back then.
Oh, yeah. And so there's still remnants of the river and the canals and stuff, right? That's part of your history.
Oh, yeah. We just built a pedestrian bridge over US 33, and at the base it says St. Mary's Historic Canal Town. And so, yes, the canal history was very important to St. Mary's. There's a lock and a canal boat, and several local industries. The canal provided water power to local industries, and we restored one of the mills that was one of the first industries in St. Mary's.
Right, yeah. So a lot of wonderful history, and throughout this bicentennial celebration, I mean, there's going to be like columns and, you know, newspaper articles and things that explain the history, and then events for people to go to, right? So as the committee, how did you guys decide all the different things that you want to do to celebrate?
Well, this committee is a kind of a coordinating committee. We didn't want to dictate events at all, but we wanted to coordinate what other groups are doing and make sure they were well publicized. A lot of our events focus on the Grand Opera House, which is being restored and is in process, but many of the events will be held there in the Opera House, such as lectures, and we just had a little film by William K. Howard, who was from St. Mary's and was a prominent film director back in the 30s and 40s. And so several events will concentrate on the Opera House. But the big birthday celebration will take place in April. The traditional Summerfest is being expanded with different events. And then we have these First Fridays during the summer months, and they will all have historic events. We're having a vintage baseball game in June, and we're replicating, there was a famous event that happened in a celebration in 1910 where there were these two tightrope walkers who dressed in an elephant costume and walked across Spring Street. It's a very iconic photo, and we're actually replicating that event. I think it's in the June First Friday. Now, they won't be that high off the ground, but I think these two tightrope walkers are going to dress in an elephant costume. So kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, fun events and things, and sure, people in St. Mary's want to celebrate, but the rest of us can come down too, like for the First Fridays and, you know, the Summerfest and that kind of thing, right? Celebrate with you guys?
Absolutely. We want to welcome everybody from the area to these events and help us celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because 200 years, it's worthy to celebrate. And have you found it fascinating, you know, some of the history and what people are realizing and want to do then to celebrate?
Well, we have an exceptionally rich history, and we are one of the oldest inhabited spots in northwestern Ohio. I was just looking at an 1820 map, and St. Mary's is shown there, and there's virtually no other town shown in all of northwestern Ohio, an area of 5 million acres. So, yes, we have a rich history, and we want to bring out those historic events during our celebration.
Mm-hmm. All right, you got to keep watch. I know the Chamber has a list of things happening. Kraig, thank you very much for sharing with us about the bicentennial.
Thank you, Holly.
All right.
Look forward to seeing you down here.
Right, we'll come on down. All right, thanks.
Okay.
All right, Noon Edition continues in a moment.